What would you do if you were lost in the woods with no means of communication? A chilling thought, isn't it? One moment you're enjoying the tranquility of nature and the next you're alone, isolated with no cell service or GPS to guide you home. This scenario, as unsettling as it is, underscores the importance of preparedness. Life is unpredictable. Even the most routine hike or camping trip can take an unexpected turn. It's crucial to have the knowledge and skills to navigate such situations. Being lost in the wilderness can evoke a whirlwind of emotions. Fear, panic, and confusion are common reactions. They can cloud your judgment, making a difficult situation even more challenging. It's a terrifying thought, but one we must confront if we're to stand a chance in the wild. The first and foremost thing is not to panic. Let's discuss why. Panic. It is a natural response, but it can be your worst enemy. When you're lost in the wilderness, the sudden surge of fear can trigger an immediate panic response. This is your body's way of preparing for a perceived threat, a primal instinct, if you will. Let's delve a little deeper into what happens physiologically when you panic. Your heart rate spikes, sending blood rushing to your muscles. Your breathing becomes shallow and rapid. Your vision may even narrow. This is known as the fight or flight response. It's your body gearing up to either tackle the danger head-on or run for the hills. However, this response isn't particularly helpful when you're lost in the woods. In fact, it can cloud your judgment and hamper your ability to think clearly. Panic can cause you to make hasty decisions like running aimlessly or following a random path, which could potentially exacerbate your situation. Now let's look at the psychological side of panic. Fear and anxiety kick into overdrive, and your mind starts to race. You might start imagining worst-case scenarios, which only feeds the panic and amplifies those negative emotions. This vicious cycle can quickly spiral out of control if not managed properly. So, how do you break this cycle? The key is to acknowledge your fear, but not let it control you. It's okay to feel scared. It's a normal human reaction, but remember, panic won't help you get out of the woods. It won't help you find your way back to safety. Instead, try and focus on the task at hand. Concentrate on what needs to be done right now. This can help ground you in reality and prevent your mind from wandering off into the realm of what-ifs. Deep breathing is also a powerful tool in managing panic. Slow, deliberate breaths can help lower your heart rate and calm your mind. It's a simple technique, but an effective one. So the first step is to calm down. Take deep breaths. And let's move on to the next step. Now that you're calm, it's time to assess your situation. Taking a moment to understand your environment is crucial. It's easy to feel overwhelmed when you're lost in the woods. But remember, every forest, every wilderness has its own rhythm, its own set of rules, and once you understand them, you can use them to your advantage. Start by checking out your immediate surroundings. Look for landmarks, a distinct tree, a stream, a rock formation, anything that can help you orient yourself later. Listen for sounds of civilization. Cars, people, even planes overhead. They might be too far to reach, but knowing they're there can help you figure out a direction if you decide to move. Next, consider the weather conditions. If it's clear and sunny, you have a bit more leeway. If it's getting dark, or if the weather is turning, you need to find shelter quickly. Look for natural shelters, under large trees, inside caves or crevices, but be careful, these places can also be home to wild animals. Speaking of which, be aware of any potential dangers in the vicinity. Are there signs of large predators? Fresh tracks, droppings, or food remains can be indicators. If you see any, it's best to move away slowly and quietly. Now you might be thinking, I'm lost, shouldn't I be trying to get out of here? Well, yes and no. It's important to find a safe spot to stay, at least for the night. Moving around in the dark, especially in unfamiliar terrain, can be dangerous. Plus, if you've signaled for help, it's easier for rescuers to find you if you stay put. So find a spot that's dry, relatively flat, and sheltered from the wind. Make sure it's not in a low-lying area that could flood if it rains. Once you've found it, mark it somehow. With stones, branches, anything you can find. Once you have found a safe spot, it's time to think about survival. But remember, survival isn't just about enduring, it's about using your knowledge, your creativity, and your will to turn a challenging situation into an opportunity for growth. And before we move on to the nitty-gritty of survival needs, here's a fun reminder for you. If you're enjoying these survival tips, consider subscribing to our channel and hit that bell icon. This way, you will never miss out on our upcoming content. We aim to equip you with the knowledge and skills necessary to thrive in any situation, whether you're lost in the wilderness or just planning your next adventure. Remember, knowledge is power, And by subscribing, you're making sure you're always prepared. Now, let's dive back into the survival tips. Up next, the 3 basic survival needs. Survival in the wilderness boils down to 3 basic needs: shelter, water, and food. Let's start with shelter. It's not just about comfort, it's about protection from the elements. Hypothermia can strike even in mild weather, and exposure to harsh conditions can be deadly. Look for natural shelters like caves or dense trees, but if none are available, you'll need to make your own. Use branches, leaves, or any available material to create a barrier between you and the elements. Remember, your shelter doesn't need to be large, just enough to fit you comfortably. Next is water, the essence of life. The human body can only survive for about 3 days without it. Look for streams or rivers, but remember, not all water is safe to drink. To purify water, you can boil it over a fire or use purification tablets if you have them. If those options aren't available, consider creating a solar still by digging a hole and covering it with plastic, allowing condensation to collect, and provide you with drinkable water. Finally, food. While the human body can survive for about 3 weeks without food, you'll want to find sustenance sooner rather than later to maintain your energy levels. Look for edible plants, but be careful, not all plants are safe to eat. Knowledge of the local flora is invaluable here. Insects can also provide necessary protein. If you're near a water source, fish can be an excellent source of nutrition. But remember, in a survival situation, your energy is precious. Don't expend too much energy hunting or gathering food if it means neglecting your other needs. Survival is a balancing act, a careful management of resources and energy. It's about understanding your environment, using what's available, and always prioritizing your basic needs. Remember, shelter first, then water, then food. Survival is tough, but with knowledge and determination, it's possible. Now let's talk about getting rescued. You're surviving, but you need to get back to civilization. Let's talk about signaling for help. When you're lost in the wilderness, your ability to signal for help could be the difference between a swift rescue and an extended stay in the great outdoors. There are several ways to make your presence known, and it's a good idea to use as many methods as possible to increase your chances of being spotted. One of the most effective ways to signal for help is by creating a fire. Not only can the smoke be seen from afar during the day, but the flames can also serve as a beacon during the night. It's important to remember that a fire requires careful monitoring and control, as an unattended fire can quickly turn into a forest fire. Another method to signal for help is by using a mirror or any reflective object. The reflected sunlight can catch the attention of a passing aircraft or a distant search party. To use this method, simply hold the mirror towards the sun and angle it in the direction you believe help may come from. Now, if you have access to open space, you can also create a ground signal. This could be a large SOS or help sign made from rocks, logs, or any contrasting materials you can find. The larger and more contrasted the signal, the more likely it is to be spotted from the air. However, it's important to keep in mind that these signals should be used wisely. If you're low on resources or energy, don't waste them on signals if you're not reasonably sure that someone will see them. Instead, focus on maintaining your basic survival needs. And finally, remember to always stay near your signal. If you've made a fire or a ground signal, stay close by. You don't want potential rescuers to find your signal, but not you. Remember, survival is a mental game as much as it is a physical one. You need to keep a clear head, make smart decisions, and never give up hope. With the right mindset and the right signals, you'll increase your chances of being rescued and getting back to civilization. In the end, survival is as much about keeping your spirits up as it is about meeting your physical needs. Let's explore the importance of maintaining morale when lost in the wilderness. It's crucial to keep a positive mindset. This is not about ignoring the reality of your situation, but rather about believing in your ability to survive. When we're faced with adversity, a positive mindset can be our greatest ally. It can help us remain calm, make rational decisions, and keep us motivated to continue pushing forward. Another key aspect of maintaining morale is keeping busy. Doing so not only aids in survival by keeping you focused on necessary tasks, but it can also serve as a distraction from fear and anxiety. Lastly, never lose hope. Remember the countless stories of individuals who've survived against incredible odds. Their common thread, they never gave up. Remember, people have survived incredible odds before. With the right knowledge and attitude, you can too. Survived the video? Great! Now comes the most important part. Don't forget to subscribe for more survival tips. Think of it as your digital survival kit, always there when you need it. Stay safe out there, and remember, the key to survival isn't just about the physical aspects, but also about maintaining a strong, positive mindset. You've got this. Remember, the wilderness is as much a mental challenge as it is a physical one. Equip yourself with the right knowledge, attitude, and of course, our survival tips. So hit that subscribe button, and let's conquer the wilderness together. Stay safe out there, adventurers.